Welcome, guys. So today we're going to be talking about diet, in particular Tudor's diet. So as you're aware, diet plays a major role in a lot of things. It causes a lot of diseases. And lately, there's been different sort of lifestyle that have come around relating to diet. So there's like vegan, there's vegetarian, there's pescatarian, flexitarian, like so many. And I feel like the world is moving in the direction where it's accepting these lifestyle. Unlike before, it was really difficult, like if you were a vegetarian or a vegan, like to go to a restaurant where you would actually get a meal that, can accommodate you. But lately, there's been so many
Mm.
restaurants opening up, and like the world is changing, and diet, as I said, contributes to so many things. Um, so I mean, in January there was veganuary, which is like a move to get people to start like a vegan diet. And let me start off with a story. So, with knowing Trudy, I've known Trudy since uni, and back in uni, we used to have like a little date. If it's shopping, if it's like going to a restaurant. We used to have like a little date, and I remember we used to eat a lot. Let's just put it that way. We used to go to various restaurants. Then I even remember going to Nando's, and then I'll order like a hot chicken, and Judy will order her lemon and herb chicken, and yeah, I remember like for a long time we used to eat meat, and then one day Judy came and said, oh, she's no longer eating meat. So she's now a vegan. I was like, what? Like, I was a bit surprised because for a long time we had been eating meat together. And yeah, truly, so I just wanted to know what made you decide to be a vegan? How long have you been a vegan now?
Okay, so first of all, Steph, lemon and herb was the real deal. Like nothing, when people go to Nando's and they order extra hot peri peri, I'm like, excuse me, have you tried lemon and herb? Because that used to hit the spot. Nothing could beat lemon and herb. And I do apologize for the hoarseness in my voice. I have caught whatever virus is going round, but I am okay. It's literally just my voice. I am 100% fine. Um, but just getting back onto, of course, what we're talking about. So my journey started in, I think it was 2018, right? So it was just before Lent, and I practice Lent every year. So it was just before Lent, and one of my friends, we were just talking about, okay, so what are we going to give up this year? And he was like, why don't we give up pork? Bearing in mind, I actually always almost give up meat, but it was like, why don't we give up pork? And I was like, yeah, that's easy. But I was like, I mean, if I'm going to give up that, I might as well give up what I always give up, which is meat. So we ended up just giving up sort of meat altogether for 40 days and 49. I'm talking meat, chicken, pork, basically any animal meat, including fish. Um, so we gave up this for 40 days, and
Mm,
after that it was kind of hard to get back into it, I think. And I think they say sort of like it takes what 23 days to change a habit. I don't know how many days it takes to change a habit. So I
mm,
suppose I had gone past that stage, and it was so easy for me to completely change my diet. And so, I mean, I have given up in the past, but I think during this period specifically, I was reading a lot more about what it means to be vegan, what it means to be vegetarian, what it means to maybe not ingest meat, what does that do for my health, and things like that. So I was being a bit more
mm,
educated about it as opposed to just giving up for the sake of it. Not really for the sake of it. I mean, we give up for a reason during Lent, but just giving up without necessarily even looking at what benefits this actually has for me. And
mm,
so during this period, I started reading about the health benefits of not really being that big a meat eater or giving up meat altogether. And so I think
Mm.
these kind of got ingrained in my brain. So after the 40 days, it's almost like my body could not go back into this habit. So I
Okay.
just could not eat meat anymore. I could not eat pork anymore. I think I was looking at it from a completely different mindset. But I remember like one thing I was eating every now and then for like the next sort of 3 months was chicken. You know, like I'd have a chicken here, a chicken there. Um,
Mm.
and I remember the very last piece of meat I ever ate was actually a chicken. It was what, you know, I was going away to work. It was on a Sunday. We always go out for a meal with my family on a Sunday. So dad, myself, and my younger sister went out to TGI Fridays. She got some sesame TGI wings. Oh, I can't remember what the name is. And I remember saying to her, and at that point, I was like, okay, like I'm actually coming off chicken as well. But I remember looking at chicken, I was like, can I have just one? She's like, yeah, of course. And I had that. And I think I was like, you know what? I think I'm ready. And that literally that
Mm.
is how I became vegan. But literally after that, one thing, well, I do lie. I did not quite become vegan yet. I was never big on milk, so I've never really been big on drinking milk products because
Mm.
I've had some lactose intolerance. So milk wasn't like is something I never really never really had. So that was easy for
Mm.
me because I think that's a struggle with a lot of people who are trying to um, shift that the diet habit or become vegan. If anything, most people love
Yeah.
cheese, so giving up cheese is actually such a big deal for a lot of people, especially if they enjoy it. But yeah, so for me, that was literally easy. And then
Okay.
7 years ago, again, I was not diagnosed. I found out that I was allergic to seafood. So I hadn't had seafood all this while. So for me, it's like I
Mm.
was already on the journey of it. It was just about just giving up the
Okay.
last bits of meat products or animal based products, if I may.
Mm.
Um, but also during this period when I gave up animal based products or animal based meals, I did not completely give up egg up until sort of like
Okay.
mid of last year. So I was not quite a vegan. I was what I actually refer to as a vegan because I was still having egg. So I was a vegan up until last year, I think summertime. And then
Okay.
again, just more educated about, what still, ingesting eggs and just being also educated about, of course, animal cruelty. And I'm talking about chickens, little
Mm.
chickens that
Mhm.
well, we're told they're free range, but that's debatable. And then I just
Mm.
that literally again, I think it was ingrained in my brain, and I completely gave up egg. And since then, I have been complete vegan.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. That's really good. I can tell like you went through a process, like easing yourself
I did.
through, which is really good. I think it's something that I'm trying to be because I was also stopped eating meat. Like I'm a pescatarian now, so I only eat fish, no meat, no
Mm-hmm.
chicken. And I don't know if I will get to being a vegan yet or a vegetarian yet, but yeah, I'll probably like ease myself in as well because it's not easy. As you said, it's like you have to for your change to happen, you have to do it like a couple of
Mm-hmm.
times first before like it gets ingrained in
Yeah.
you. But like when it comes to diet, I think the process of like changing from one diet to another is quite
Mm-hmm.
challenging because sometimes I'm not gonna like I haven't had like the craving to eat
Mm-hmm.
chicken or so, but sometimes I find it difficult, like because I'm surrounded by people that eat meat, that eat chicken. And for yourself, like how easy or how difficult was it? Like, did you ever crave meat like during those times that you were in the process of the change? Because for some people, I think they will struggle, or like going from like eating meat to being a vegan. I think they have to ease themselves
Mm.
in. Like, did you struggle, or like, what was your challenge?
To be fair, I mean, there is always a challenge when you're trying to sort of navigate this shift in dietary habits. as well as, of course,
Yeah.
trying to also satisfy your cravings with this new alternatives, right? So that is always going to be a challenge for anyone. It is a
Mm.
challenge. Forget even habits. It's in a lot of things. When you are so used to something, say even an old job,
Yeah.
you're so used to an old job, you know every single bit about it. Like you can walk
Mm.
in blindfolded, you know what you're doing, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden you're moved to a completely different position and you're trying to navigate around that. So it is going to be a challenge, but I think one thing
Yeah.
is, first of all, when you're around people who are like-minded, so even with, I'm talking generally in life, but in this case with diet, so if you're around, say, vegan people, you have a vegan community, it makes some of these things easier, because there will be a lot
Mm.
of criticism with getting into sort of like uh veganism. A lot of people will be like, wait, first
Yeah.
of all, like, do you realize you're eating a lot more processed foods? Or people will be like, oh, you know
Mm.
what, you're just going to backtrack. I gave you 2 months. So already, like, that is challenging enough for
Yeah.
you, because there's not enough like there's not enough backup, there's not enough push from people around you and
Mm.
support as well. So that can be 100%, that can be very, very challenging. But I
Mm.
think more than anything, it's also doing it for the right reasons. If you're just doing it because it's a trend, honestly, trends come and
Yeah.
go, you know, literally trends come and go. So it will just be one of those, you know, after that shift, it's like, okay, maybe I can have some meat now, kind of thing. But
Mm.
if you actually are getting into, say, not just even a vegan lifestyle, but just you want to really get into a vegan diet, it's very important that you get in it for the right reasons. So you have to maybe just do your research, just know why is it that you're doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and is this actually something that you genuinely support? Because if it's
Yeah.
not, honestly, you're just gonna backtrack. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But
Yeah.
even if you do your research, I cannot guarantee that it's going to be an easy journey. For me, I have to say I was very lucky. It worked out so easy, so well for me, because I was able to sort of gradually get into it, having given up things in
Mm.
stages. And some of it was not even my choice. And I think for me, because I really enjoyed having, say, seafood. So when that was like, I had to cut that out from my diet, it was like, why am I even having meat, kind of thing, you know? So it was easy
Yeah.
for me, but it's not going to be easy for everyone. And again, no one has to be vegan, you know, if you don't want to be
Mm.
vegan. It is just a choice, you know, that, like, there's a lot of choices in life. This is just another choice. You either, you know, choose to be vegan or you don't, and there's no right or wrong way.
Yeah.
I never I know there's that also, that there's that whole idea of, oh, vegans are always judging people about eating meat. I personally never judge people on eating meat. My family they absolutely, they cannot have a meal without me. So I don't judge people. And I think that's one thing as well you have to get comfortable with when you're on
Yeah.
this journey, is that people will have ideas of you and of what you've chosen that is not even you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So as I've mentioned, like there's various sort of like diets out there, and we've mentioned a few.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes what I get confused, like what I used to get confused about was like vegan and
Mm-hmm.
vegetarian. Like I used to think they were like the same
Mm-hmm.
thing. It's just like maybe just eating fruits and vegetables and not just eating meat. Like I really didn't know the
Mm-hmm.
difference. Like, so what is the actual difference like between the two? Like what does vegan entail? Like, yeah.
Okay. So there's actually a difference, first of all, with between a vegan diet and a vegan lifestyle. And then there's, of course, the
Mm,
vegan diet and the vegetarian diet. Now,
okay.
a vegetarian diet, just simply put, is a diet that is associated with loads of vegetables, but vegetarians can have some byproducts of animals. So a vegetarian will, for instance, have cheese, which is not quite
Mm,
meat, but it's a byproduct of an animal, or they can have eggs, and that
mm,
is, that is fine for vegetarian. Whereas for vegan, is strictly a plant-based diet. So if it doesn't come from a plant, they probably won't have it.
mm,
So that is literally the simplest definition of vegetarian and vegan.
mm,
But now a vegan diet and a vegan lifestyle are completely different things.
yeah,
Whereas like someone can practice a vegan diet, they don't necessarily have to live a vegan lifestyle. And what that
mm,
means is basically a vegan lifestyle, it incorporates the broader commitment to avoiding not just animal products, but also animal exploitation in different aspects of life. So anything that could come from an animal, that means that maybe that animal was exploited, or maybe it was not necessarily looked after in the nicest way. A vegan lifestyle
mm,
will try avoid. If you live a vegan lifestyle, you will avoid that. So there is a difference. Whereas,
mm.
say, someone could have a vegan diet, but they can still do some of these things, like I
Okay.
suppose wear leather and things like that. So there is a
Mm,
difference.
okay. 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 So with
Mm-hmm.
vegan, they eat more plant-based stuff, which is quite healthy. I mean, as I said before, like food is like a major cause of like a lot of
Yeah,
diseases. It causes like let's say diabetes, like heart diseases. I mean, food is a problem like these days.
it
Wherever you
is.
turn, they're like, oh, don't eat
Don't
this.
eat
It's gonna
bread.
cause
Don't eat
this. It's gonna cause
vegetables.
like you know. Food is a major issue. Sometimes I'm like, why am I even eating? Because anything like everywhere I turn, they're like, don't eat bread, don't eat egg, don't eat like don't even drink cold water. Like
Yes.
don't drink so many like, there's so many restrictions when it comes to like food. So I guess being a vegan, it plays a very it's quite important to your body, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, because you're getting all these like good
Yeah.
nutrients into your
Mm-hmm.
system. So, what are the benefits that you've seen, like of being a vegan, and what might one benefit from being a
Mm-hmm.
vegan?
So
Mm,
personally, one of the things that I actually noticed almost straight away, well, not like next day,
mm,
like I'm vegan one day, the next day I'm like, okay, then this is great. But like with time, I
yeah.
was like, okay, maybe this is actually a diet for me. Like I feel like
Mm,
maybe up until like my sort of mid 20s, I did suffer from like adult acne, not quite severe, but like I was getting acne
mm,
quite a bit.
okay.
Or getting a lot more acne than I would supposedly be okay getting as an adult.
Mm,
But what I noticed when I started eating, or I started my vegan journey, was that my skin cleared a lot better, and it cleared a lot more.
mm,
So the more sort of I got into it, the clearer my skin got, and that is
mm,
actually proven by science because there is a lot of antioxidants in a lot of fruits and vegetables. So normally,
mm,
what antioxidants will do is they will help sort of like contribute to say healthier skin, because they're sort of like
mm,
getting rid of some of these toxins which can cause some of these things like acne, just constant the pimples and all of that. And so it will normally help when you're having a lot more fruit and veg if you suffer from something like that. But also there's a lot
mm.
of water content in like say fruit and veg. So they say hydration is like the key to like clearest skin. So and
Yeah.
I'm not really that great with water intake. So this was, I think, a way of like sort of like making sure that I still have a lot more hydration, a lot more water intake. But also there's like the omega fatty acids in a lot of the plant-based foods as well, which supports again healthy skin, because of course this reduces
Mm,
inflammation. So there is actually a lot of positives with being on a plant-based diet when it comes to
yeah.
your skin. But I think another thing I noticed was, well, this is Constellation Room podcast, so we're going to be as honest here. um I was
Yeah.
I was struggling a little bit with my bowel habits. Okay. So sometimes I'll be like,
Okay.
wait, I'm really struggling. I sit there and I'm thinking, wait, I've been here for a few minutes. Why is the thing not coming? So so basically being on a plant-based diet really helped my bowel habit.
Yeah.
So I would literally,
Okay.
in and out, got in, drop, but I'm out, because it kind of made that, and again, it is because of a lot more intake of fiber and water and all of
Yeah.
that. But literally being on a plant-based diet, personally, I thought
Yeah.
has been beneficial to my health in regards to, say, clearer skin and a
Mm.
clearer gut. And I'm sure it is beneficial to a lot of the other things, but it's just, I mean, I am not like in my 70s that I'm having some of these conditions. I'm like, wait, hold on. I went to my doctor and he told me that I no longer have diabetes. No, I'm not quite there yet, but I am sure it is helping
Yeah.
me in a lot of the other things, because we know for sure, like,
Yeah.
it has been proven, like, when it comes to things like lowering blood pressure, it does help in things like that. So it
Yeah.
is something that I know, and that's part of the research that I was doing. Like, what does it mean for my
Mm.
health? What are some of the
Mm.
conditions that maybe being on this diet will help prevent? So
Yeah.
it is something that is honestly beneficial to health.
Okay. 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 So you heard, guys. Plant-based stuff, good for your skin, good for your bowels as well.
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's true. And you are eating fruits and
Mm-hmm.
vegetables. Fruits and vegetables have been proven to be very good for our system, for our
Yeah.
body. So, it will have many benefits to us. Plus, guys, like, I don't know about foodie yet, but most people that I've seen that are vegans or vegetarians, yeah, they seem to have really good body, or like they seem to be in good shape.
Mm-hmm.
Like they look healthy. I don't think I've ever seen like a vegan that like looks out of shape, because unless maybe they're eating that fatty foods and stuff, maybe frying their vegetables like a
Yeah.
lot of times. But most people that I know look really good, including Trudy herself. Yeah, she's in good shape. And I think like, all these fruits and vegetables, they make it, they make it with good nutrients. So if you want to like, maintain your weight, definitely, I think opting for a vegan lifestyle might be an option for you.
It is
Yeah.
to be honest,
Um,
that is true, Steph. But let's not forget
yeah.
that there is a lot of processed food out there. So being on a
Mm,
vegan diet doesn't necessarily guarantee you, 6 buck, figure eight. No, because if you're constantly eating
yeah.
the processed foods, we know that
Yeah.
processed foods have got ingredients. Forget even the animal products, because that's not really what is
Mm,
going to cause you to gain weight or going to cause you to have some of these conditions or anything like that. But it's some of the products
yeah.
in processed foods. Just make sure you maybe read the labels, read on the hidden
Mm,
ingredients, because these are the ingredients that could be causing you trouble. Yeah.
okay. Okay. Yeah. But you know, as we've been growing up here, everyone just says, even like the media, it's good to have a balanced
Mm.
diet because these provide you with different nutrients, different things like proteins, carbohydrates. They're all quite good for our health. And I think being a vegan, it makes you lack in certain
Mhm.
things because you're just eating like plant-based stuff. So what are the sort of things that you've noticed that have not been so beneficial, or that you've been lacking, like in being a vegan?
That is true. So, being a vegan means that you could lack some nutrients, and I think
Mm,
that's one of the reasons why a lot of people are like, "I'm not being a vegan, okay? I'm not trying to be popping tablets every day," and I could honestly 100% understand that, because
mm,
personally, I've always had low iron. Now, there's a lot of iron in meat products. Like, you have some steak, there's some iron. Like liver, liver has a lot of iron, and I used to eat loads of
mhm,
liver because I knew, first of all, I was low in iron, and that, of course, gave me enough iron, or at least I was able to ingest enough iron that way. But of course, being
yeah,
vegan, you can't have liver. So a lot of vegan products can actually lack iron. So you could
mhm,
possibly be low in iron if you follow a vegan diet. Now there is of course, it's not necessarily the reason why you might be low in iron. It could just be your body's just
Mm,
not able to produce as much iron or store as much iron. So as much as it is a problem that could be made worse with you being vegan, it's just important maybe before you get onto a vegan diet, just get your blood test checked, just to make sure you know what your nutrients levels are. Another thing which
mm,
I've also noticed is my B12 levels. My B12 levels are not as great. I mean, I am borderline, so that means that maybe I'm actually doing something right with my vegan
mhm,
diet. But it has been shown that vegan diets can cause a decrease in sort of like B12 levels in the body.
okay.
So I say borderline, but they should ideally be high because B12 is what gives you the energy.
Mm,
You know, you're able to do a lot of things with enough B12 in your body, including even lose weight.
yeah.
But B12 is primarily found in plant-based diets. So you have to really do a good research to find out what plant-based diets have got a high in B12. So the likes of like fortified
Mm,
foods, so the oat milks, the soya milks, they're very high in B12. So maybe a glass of that every day, if you're following a vegan diet, would be really important.
yeah.
Even yogurts, like plant-based yogurt, some of them have very, very high B12 levels. So this, you know, whilst you're on this journey, it's very, very important just to know what foods have what and what is your body lacking of. Then you know how to sort of work around that. But those two for
Mm,
sure, a lot of vegans who I've even spoken to, a lot of vegans who are my friends, all say, you know, that they constantly take sort of B12 vitamins as well as
okay.
iron vitamins, including myself.
Yeah. Okay. So taking supplements is
It
key.
is.
And well, knowing what you're lacking and then taking the supplements is
Yeah.
key. Yeah, which is quite
Mm-hmm.
important. Um, so should I have something for you? So there was a day, well, not even a day. So my husband and I, yeah, we did the 3 day, no carbs, no protein, no
Right.
sugar diet. Yeah, we just wanted to do it just like a cleanse,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, for like the
Yeah.
month. And we decided to just eat like fruits and
Mm-hmm.
vegetables only. So I classified that as being a
Yeah.
vegan. And I must tell you, Trudy, it was a struggle for me. That that 3 days, yeah, it honestly, I was
Mm-hmm.
grumpy, I was low in
Mm-hmm.
energy, like I wasn't even eating. Like I struggled to come up with like
Mm-hmm.
recipes, like things to cook. There was a point, yeah, I was literally like doing stir fry
Mm-hmm.
cabbage. I was like, what is this nonsense? Yeah, I was eating like cabbage with
Mm-hmm.
mushrooms. Like I just couldn't think of things to
Mm-hmm.
eat. And I feel like no, honestly, I struggle so
Mm-hmm.
much. So I think that's what's holding me back from like changing my diet to a vegan diet because I feel like I wouldn't know what to eat. But I don't know if it was because that I also stopped the carbs. That's why it was a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
But that 3 days, I tell you what, honestly, you couldn't speak to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was so grumpy. How how do you do it when it comes to like your vegan diet?
Okay.
I really struggled.
So I think first of all, you cut out what you know, like you were basically on
Yeah.
a vegan diet, but you cut out sugar as well. Now we all know that sugar gives a little bit of that energy. When you have no energy, you will be grumpy. You'll just want to lie down, do nothing, you know.
Oh,
So you did not do yourself a favor, eh? You're cutting down everything that's good for it's like you're just walking into the sea. You want to just die.
yeah.
But
Oh.
honestly, I feel like sometimes also it is good to indulge in something. So even when you're say on a
Yeah.
vegan diet, there is a lot of vegan desserts and things like that. Because personally,
Mm.
I feel like once in a while your body needs a little bit of that sugar, just to be like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm still normal, I'm still living life, But vegan foods, honestly, can be very, very delicious. I think some
Mm.
of the best vegan meals I've actually, some of the best meals I've had in my life have been vegan meals, and they've been prepared in the most sort of simplest ways, but it's sort of like
Mm.
mixing the right bits together that just gives it that flavor. And I think it is very
Mm.
important, maybe if you're starting this journey, just to not just practice with sort of like with different ingredients, but also just practice what is it that your body really likes. What is it like? What's your palate? Do you know what I mean? Because some people like some things a
Mm.
certain way, whereas some people might not necessarily like
Yeah.
things a certain way. If I'm
Yeah.
coming to your house, I'm having some jollof, I don't want it too hot because I won't enjoy it. But then someone else will want it
Yeah.
extra hot. So do you know what I mean? And
That's
that's with
right.
every food. It's just really just experimenting with what really works for you, right? But
Mm.
also bearing in mind that vegan cuisine can also be very, very rich in flavors because I mean, herbs, you can put herbs in pretty much everything. So you get that tofu
Mm.
tempeh, whatever, slice it up, mix it up, put some herbs in there. I don't know, you can shallow fry, you can air fry, whatever you want to do to it. It will come out tasting like
Mm.
chicken nuggets. I'm not even joking. It's I'm just listen. But honestly, I feel like herbs are like key to just making sure that you're not having something very bland.
Mm.
Let's just be honest here. Herbs and more spices are basically plants, right? So even
Yeah.
what you're adding to your chicken to make it taste better, what you're adding to your beef to make it taste better, what the seasoning you're adding onto your jollof rice to make it better is plant based. So you can just imagine if you're adding that to something you really enjoy to make it taste better. Would it
Mm.
not taste just as good if you added it on something that is plant based? Of course it would, because it
Mm.
is it is what makes I feel like spices and herbs is what makes cooking exciting. It's what makes food what it is and what we
Mm.
love it to be. So really experimenting with some of these things is key to like just easing yourself
Yeah.
into a nice vegan diet,
Mm.
because you are right, you can't just boil your cabbage and eat it. You can't just boil your cabbage and eat it. You can't. Do you know what? I don't understand how people just boil Brussels sprouts and eat it. No, you can't just boil Brussels sprouts and eat it. It needs to be spiced.
Oh.
Put some of that chili flakes on it.
Yeah.
Put some of that. You know what I mean? Like it needs to taste
Yeah.
good. One thing I love is truffle oil, and I feel like with vegan food, truffle oil just put in the right amount literally changes the game. So literally just experimenting with flavors, experimenting with
Mm.
herbs, with spices, putting it into some of the foods that you enjoy. Some of the plant based foods that you enjoy will literally change the game. But listen,
Yeah.
Stephanie, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna cook you a vegan meal that until
Perfect.
your
No.
end of time, you're like, Trudy, my final meal. This is what. If you're on your deathbed, you're like, what's your? You'll be like, Trudy, call Trudy.
No. Do you know what? Yeah. I don't know. I think I have to ease myself in because when I think about it, like all these tofu and stuff, I've never had tofu in my entire life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I did get some, yeah, which I ended up like throwing it in the bin. But I look at it, I'm like, seriously, like how can this replace like meat and fish and all of that? I just don't understand it.
You know what? Cooked right, tofu can be so,
Mm.
so good. Tofu is not the easiest thing to work with, especially if you don't know what to do. It
Yeah.
is like, I don't know, it's like giving, say, someone who's never eaten fish in their life a piece of fish
Yeah.
to cook. They don't know what to do with it because they it's not
Yeah.
familiar to them. But with everything, it just takes you working. You basically working on what like working on what works best for you, and using what
Yeah.
you know to make this what you like. So tofu is not necessarily something you know, but if you make it to
Mm.
something you like, you will really enjoy it. 100%.
Sure. 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 Like, I have something, you know how in my
Hmm.
household, so I'm a
Right.
pescatarian, my husband is, but my kids, I've just left them to basically eat whatever they want to eat because I
Hmm.
just feel like when I was young, my parents gave me everything to eat as
Yeah.
well, so I was just leaving them. But then we are also educating them that okay, mommy and daddy does not eat meat, does not eat chicken,
Hmm.
this and one. And they do understand that sometimes they do question, oh, why don't you eat like this chicken nuggets? And I'm like, oh, because we stop, we eat fish, And I'm hoping as they
Hmm.
grow, they would get to understand us and hopefully make their own choice as
Yeah.
well. Um, I do, sometimes it is hard, like, where you have to cook two, like, different
Yeah.
meals in the house. But obviously, when they're home, they tend to eat whatever that we're
Hmm.
eating. And once in a while, I will cook things for them, like, that includes, like, a bit of chicken in
Hmm.
there. And when they go to school, they'll eat, like, chicken as
Hmm.
well. But it does get daunting.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna
Mm.
lie. And it does get really daunting. I mean, I'm sure, like, your family must have struggled as
Oh.
well. Because as you mentioned, you said like, your family like are big eaters of meat,
Hmm.
but then you're like the only one that is a
Yeah.
vegan. Like, I mean, that is a drastic
Hmm.
change from me eating to being a vegan. I really feel sorry for your family. What the sort of like challenges that
Oh my
they
God.
have to go through?
Do you know what? Last Christmas, my sister
Yeah,
hosted us, right? My older sister, and
yeah,
um, so I gave up egg, sort of mid last year, right? But I don't think I'd
yeah,
informed her, or maybe I just didn't in passing, and I thought she probably got it. But she must
yeah,
have like she's like, okay, so we're making Christmas like a Christmas meal. I was like, yeah, great. So
mm,
I'm Kenyan, so we always have to have pilau. So I'm like, okay, so just make sure there's no meat in the pilau. She's like, yeah, whatever, yeah. So that is something they've had to deal with. That if we're making some
yeah,
meals that would normally have meat, they kind of have to exclude the meat, maybe cook meat on the side, which
yeah,
I feel sorry for them, but it is nice that they understand that. But I remember her saying something like, "Don't worry, like we'll do that, but you can always have your egg on the side." I'm like, first of all, on Christmas Day, eh? You want me to? Why do you want me to eat? Why do you want me to eat egg on Christmas Day? Secondly, I'm like, well, actually, I've given up egg. I don't eat egg no more. She's like, wait, hold on,
yeah,
Trudy, you have to calm slow here. One, we're already dealing with the fact that you're vegan. Now you know. So honestly, honestly it is a challenge for everyone, especially if it's
yeah.
not something that everyone in your family practices. It
That's
can be a
right.
challenge because they are not just thinking about, okay, we're just making a meal. It's we're making two meals, or we need to make sure we don't
Mm,
have an non-vegan products in this meal because that means the truly can't have it. But
yeah,
I honestly I do really appreciate they respect this choice that I've made.
yeah,
Um, but one thing, however, is that my mother has never, until this day, almost
yeah.
6 years later, my mother has never accepted that I am vegan. Mm-mm.
Of
No,
course
no,
not.
no, no. My mother, let me tell you something. We can be out, we can be like, I don't know, out for a meal at home, and then she's made some
Yeah,
chicken. And it's very nice. According to her, it's very nice, yeah? And I'm okay with my veggies, okay? I'm okay with my ugali and so
yeah,
I'm fine. I'm not even complaining. I'm enjoying my meal. I'm like, oh, this is
yeah,
good. Then my mom goes, but if you try this chicken, Trudy, this chicken is nice. Just try just a bite.
mm-hmm.
And I'm like, Mom, I'm vegan. She's like, sometimes you can just try and then you go back. I'm like, Mother, it doesn't work that way. I think my mom has never accepted fast food
Yeah,
the fact that I'm vegan. And she doesn't even understand it. Like, why give up something so
yeah,
delicious? So my mom has really struggled with just accepting the fact that I'm vegan. My
yeah,
sisters and the rest of my family, they're all very supportive, they're all very understanding.
mm,
My dad, oh bless him, honestly, he is like he is like he is the OG, right? So my
yeah,
dad, you know how they say, Steph, that African dads or sometimes even African parents will not necessarily tell you they love you all the time,
yes,
but there will be signs, eh? My dad
Mm.
shows me the signs.
True.
Like until I became vegan, I was like, oh, so these are the signs. Okay, now I get it. So like as I said, my family is so big on meat, right? So my family
Yeah.
is Kenyan. I'm Kenyan, and what like barbecue is a thing. It's a thing.
Mm.
Like in a Kenyan household, barbecue is a thing. Like as soon as the sun is out, we
Yeah.
barbecue. Listen, it was my nephew's birthday the other day. It's February. Why are we having a barbecue in February? No, I tell you why. It's because we're Kenyan. Okay, we will have a barbecue
Wow.
come rain, come sunshine. So they love like. There's no reason why you can't have meat. Meat is like, and I think with in sort of the Kenyan community, barbecue, not just meat, a barbecue brings people together. So it's a way of like bringing
Okay.
people together whenever there's a celebration, just to show the love amongst people. You have a barbecue, you have
Yeah.
meat, you share meat together. So that is a way of like just showing love. And so my
Yeah.
dad is very big on that. But since I became vegan, there was no questions asked. It was more of, I don't actually think I even told him. I think my sister he must have gone one time to buy me. My sister, Trudy's vegan. This man, he wakes up. So on barbecue day, this man will wake up first thing in the morning, 6 o'clock. He's out to get some fresh meat, right? But he will make sure to
Yeah.
go to Waitrose or any other supermarket to get my Beyond Meat burger and my vegan sausages just so I can be included in this
Mhm.
love. And I really appreciate and love my dad for that he has supported this lifestyle, which he I don't think he actually understands it that well, but he's so
Yeah.
supportive. So honestly, my family, I have to say, they have really been supportive. But it's not always the
Yeah.
case. It's not always the case, especially being African, being black. What household are you vegan? Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, that's really sweet. That's really sweet. Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It
So
is.
like, with the struggle that you've been seeing and stuff, would you impose like a
Mm-hmm.
vegan lifestyle, a vegan diet onto your kids?
Well, I don't think directly I would. Like, listen, in this house we don't do no meat. No, I don't think I would directly impose a vegan diet to to my
Mm.
children. My partner and I, we've spoken about this. We don't have kids yet, but we've spoken about this. Like, when we have kids, how would we
Mm.
go about this? And we're both very happy to sort of introduce them into a vegan lifestyle. Um, just for it will be one of those. Steph, do you know what? It's because of your struggle,
Yeah.
Steph, that I can't do this. I cannot be doing two meals in a house. I can already feel I can feel your
Yes.
struggle, and I am not ready for that
Yeah.
struggle. Okay, so I will be making one meal. It will be one meal in
Yes.
this household. Everyone come to the dining. You
Yeah.
know, so honestly, I think for that reason, it will be just
That's right.
easier. It'll be easier to
Yeah.
make one meal. But what we'll do is we will educate our
That's right.
children on what it is to be
Mm.
vegan and what it is to have to be part of a
Yeah.
vegan sort of a big vegan lifestyle, and also what is a vegan diet, what does it do to your
Mm.
body, because I think that is what is lacking in
Yeah.
society and in our community nowadays, where there's no education to the children on what on foods and things like that. And that's where a child will come from school, chicken and chip shop every day, chicken and
Yeah.
chip shop. That's not doing that child any. I'm not saying that chicken chips is not good for you. Once in a while, let them have some fresh
Yeah.
veg, some fresh fruit. And I think because of lack of education on what is what food does to the body. A lot of children, we live in a society with there's a lot of children who are obese, a lot of children who are overweight, and it's not even their doing. It's just because they don't actually have that education of what it means to ingest some of
Mm.
these foods. So personally, I would want to just educate my child and my
Yeah.
children on what it means to what it means to to be vegan, and also to be fair, I would want them to be vegan just because it simplifies things. But if later on in life they decide, look, I'm doing some chicken. I'm doing some. Listen, by all means, I cannot hold a gun to my child and say, as long as you're my child, you're having. No, if they later on decide
Yeah,
that this is not a journey for them, happily. But also, I don't think it is fair to impose some of these things to
yeah,
children, especially if they're not comfortable with it. If at all, I don't know, my child decides, okay, I don't know, they get to a point, say, I don't know, 5, 6, where they have an opinion about
mm,
things. If he says that he wants to eat meat, like, of course, I'm going to have to
that's
respect
right.
that. It's not going to be like, no, 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 in this house, we don't do that kind of thing. Because it is his choice, a vegan lifestyle is a choice. Okay. Like my nephew, my 7-year-old nephew is really bad at eating. Like he will have a meal, 2 hours later he's still eating the same meal. He's such a poor feeder,
Yeah,
right? So trying to impose something on a child like that is not going to actually
no,
help them, because you're not giving them a variety. So I think it's very important as well just to know what is the situation, because there's some children who absolutely love veg. There's some children who absolutely
yeah,
love fruit and veg, and if you make it into a nice, interesting meal, they will really
yeah,
enjoy it, and that will be good. If that is my child, listen, we're good. But if of course the child is not necessarily keen on that, and of course you don't want them wasting
yeah,
away, so it's just, honestly, I feel like um we live in a society where education is everything, but also just taking every individual,
yeah,
separately, differently. So if I have a child who would be struggling with, say, a vegan lifestyle or vegan food, I would happily try
yeah.
adjust that.
Yeah. To be honest,
Mm.
kids are so picky, so I just feel like, just leave them to like
Yeah.
to eat whatever they want to eat,
To
yeah.
do,
Because at the end of
yeah.
the day, you give them this, I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't like this, I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
do whatever you want to do. They are so picky,
Yes.
but we just need to direct them into
Mm-hmm.
the right choices, and just as they're
Yeah.
growing up, you just inform them about like the decisions that you're making, and hopefully when they grow up, they
Yeah.
can make their own decisions as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
100%.
So, being a vegan, you've really explained a lot of things like the benefits, the cons as well, like the not so positive
Mm-hmm.
things. Um, I can see, there are some really good things about being a vegan. For
Mm-hmm.
myself, I think it may take a while for me to get there. I'm not gonna lie, but
Mm-hmm.
it is something that I think I'm gonna be more conscious about. I mean, as I said, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we do the 3 days, no carbs, no sugar. So
Yes.
maybe as time goes on, I'll probably like ease myself in, do that a bit more often, just to see if I can fully immerse myself into that
Enjoy it.
kind of diet. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's been
Yeah.
quite informative. Um, Actually, there are some people who live a very strict vegan lifestyle. I think you
Mm-hmm.
mentioned it previously, where some people do not use leather or own leather, because it's made out of
Mm-hmm.
animals, or they don't
Yeah.
use like certain things because it's been tested on animals. Like some people have that
Mm-hmm.
strict lifestyle. How
Yeah.
is your lifestyle like? Are you a proper like strict vegan where you wouldn't use such products? Yeah,
Mm-hmm. I feel like I am a practicing I'm practicing
yeah,
veganism, in the sense that I do. So prior to being fully vegan, I did have a lot of, or practicing veganism, I did have a few leather
mm,
products, which I still have, right? But I will not buy any new leather
okay,
products, just because, again, you know, because of the
yeah,
source of them. And another thing is, now there's a lot of vegan leather. So if you still want something leather, but not quite want it to be real leather, or from, to have come from
mm,
animals, there is an alternative there, which is the vegan leather. So I do have actually a few vegan leather items, which I really, really love. Now that you can tell the texture is slightly different, but it is still a leather. Like, it
okay,
doesn't take away from a leather. Um, but also, I do actually check most of the products that I use. I do make sure I check just to make sure they're vegan, because I don't think I've actually ever supported anything being tested on animals, even before becoming vegan. I think I was so against it. So now being vegan, I am religiously practicing that, which is, if I'm buying a product, it has to be vegan. Now, what I get sometimes is, like, actually even at work, like, I will bring in like a shampoo, like a shower gel, and say, why is this vegan? Like, there's not any animal products in this. And I'm thinking, no, there isn't, but it's probably because it was not tested on animals, or during the manufacturing or the sourcing of some of these products, there was not any sort of animal cruelty involved. So it is, that is part of being of practicing veganism, which is something that I do. And also I don't buy store, I don't actually get any store bought honey, because I think part of it is, most of the honey that is store bought is from like honey bee farms, and I'm not so sure that I support that, because you're basically keeping the bees there for certain purpose, whereas bees are meant to be wild. They're meant to move around. But if it's like, I know a lot of people who actually have hives that the bees have actually formed, and they really enjoy being there, hence why they form these hives. And if that is some honey coming from there, I probably will have it. So I wouldn't say I am as strict where it's like, is animal, no, but there's some products, like, but again, when it comes to any animal byproduct, so the milk, I'm not going to have it. But the reason I say that is because my mum, my mom has 2 hives, and what happened is these bees came and they made our house in the ceiling, and my mom tried to get someone to come and remove them, and they found themselves back in there. And so she gets some honey from there, and once in a while I'll have some of that honey, but I will not use any store-bought honey. So yeah, there is little things, little changes like that, which I have applied in my life. And so I'm living a part sort of like vegan lifestyle. But there's people who are very extremely strict. I don't know, I was vegan last year, I'm vegan this year, so I don't know what I'll be next year.
Yeah. Oh, that's really amazing. Like, I didn't even know about
Yeah.
the vegan leather and all of that. That was really, wow. That's really, really amazing. Thank you so much. Honestly, I hope you guys learned something. I've learned so much about being a vegan. Whether it's persuaded me to be a vegan, I'm not sure yet, but I'll keep you posted. Yeah.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
One thing, however, just to mention, there is a lot of myths about veganism out there. So there is a lot of myths about, not getting enough protein and things like that in a vegan diet, which honestly is all not true. So what we're going to do is we'll put a lot more information on our Instagram, on our socials, on what it means to, I suppose, to be vegan, but also what are the benefits of being vegan, including just talking about some of these myths. So people say there's not enough, say, protein in a vegan meal, but like a cooked cup of, say, chickpeas has already like either 15 to 20 grams of protein, which is quite a lot of protein. So you can actually get a lot of protein from like vegan meals, which is actually part of the reason why a lot of people who enjoy meat don't have or cannot really get into a vegan diet. So I think it's very important also just to be educated about what it is, what is in a vegan diet, as opposed to what there is out there, what people say out there.
All right, fantastic.
Good. Thank you for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Remember, a healthy chat is a step towards a healthy life.
If you have any topics you'd like us to discuss, drop us an email at consultationroompod@gmail.com. Our Instagram is @consultationroompod. See you next week.